show is 1, 10.
Civil War.
Alrighty, here we go. Episode 6. Took a vacay because it's the holidays. Damn it, we don't perpetually live here on the internet. We actually have things to do and people we love and things far beyond keyboards and mice. Good Lord. Oh.
Amen to that. It's been a wild week.
Oh, yeah, it's been nuts. I mean, Jesus. I mean, if you couldn't tell from the title.
Yeah. It's just been crazy. Been crazy here too, but especially over by you, it's been extra crazy.
Oh, it's been fun. We got a whole music video dedicated to it. It's just I don't think we can play the music, so we're just gonna play the video. But that's saved for a segment. Yeah, no. You definitely called it back during the winter time, and you're like, I think this might catch on. I was like, I don't know, man. I think people are gonna get arrested too much. Oh, it caught on all right.
Yeah. Sometimes I hate being right, but you know, you get to learn to read the trends. You do this long enough, and yeah, it's amazing to me how insane everything has gotten. I think I sent you a clip out of has left Seattle. They're relocating to Nashville, Tennessee, on account of all the crazy leftists in Seattle. They can't take it anymore.
I don't think I got that video. You'll have to send that to me.
So I thought that was very interesting.
Oh, it's not the only person who's decided to leave because of crazy bastards.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, the entire company is pulling up roots and moving to Nashville, apparently. And I was like, wow, how bad has Seattle gotten that Starbucks is like, yeah, we're out.
Absolutely.
Because that was the big thing with Starbucks. Yeah. That was the big thing with them when they were, when they first came out, was they kept telling you how they were from Seattle. They browbeat the shit out of you with it, You knew two things about Starbucks. One, it was green and white, and two, it was from Seattle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they'd want to sell you 10 cups of Pike's Place or Park's Place or Pike's Roast or some shit like that, which was Seattle and more Seattle. Yeah.
The Pike's Peak Roast, I think it's called.
That's what it was. Yeah. See how long it's been since I've been to one? I don't even remember the damn name. I just remember Pike something or other.
Oh, we got them everywhere here. They're even in supermarkets. So.
Jesus.
Yeah.
They've got them in Walmart here.
Yeah,
them and Black Rifle. They take up a good portion of the wall.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually seen some Black Rifle stuff up in the Dollar Tree of all places, the Dollar General specifically.
Wow, that's shocking.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Yeah, it was.
But where the hell are my manners here? I kept forgetting to do our introduction. It's my bad. I was getting all stir crazy, wanting to get back in the rhythm of it. So, apologies. I'm the CEO. This here's the editor in chief, and this over here is our dead friend here, and he's keeping the cat warm. Yeah, he stopped bitching since I went and recharged the batteries for his eyeballs. He's much happier now. Plus, I gave him my old work boots, so he's content.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you're saying that they're in Dollar Store and Walgreens and all that now?
Yeah, it was, what was it, the Dollar General I was in. And they got the cans of it, the Black Rifle Coffee Company. I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh wow. And my wife says, well, what is it? And I said, this is that cop that I'm always watching. This is his brand. And she's like, oh, all right, cool. Yeah. A small world.
I think that's Blackout Coffee. Thinking of.
Blackout, Black Rifle. I'm pretty sure Black Rifle is the one that has the shit in the Dollar General. I'll have to look again. I haven't seen it in like maybe a month or so. Okay. They might only got like a bunch of it over the winter, so I'm not sure. They never bought it. I'm not really big into coffee from a can, you know.
I got into getting the little K-cups just because it made shit easier.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go break this can open. Speaking of which.
All right, what do we got first?
The soon-to-be Hammond Bears, first and foremost. Because the legislative session that's been going on in Springfield, it's gone fucking nowhere. They're trying to pass a budget bill. They're trying to go ahead and figure out what the hell they're going to do because Soldier Field is insanely in debt. You know, it's going to be, as soon as like the Bears are like, yeah, we're done, they'll be lucky to really get anyone to play there because with modern technology being what it is, most people are wanting to get like an actual enclosed stadium. Because I guess everyone's tired of gunshots and horrible winters like coming right off the lake effect. So, because they literally have until Sunday to figure out what the hell they're gonna do. As far as like,
I just can't believe the Bears are gonna leave Chicago.
Yeah. They're likely going to go to Hammond, Indiana, because we haven't heard much with the property they have over in Arlington, because they've got property out there. They've been negotiating, but it's still all tied into the politics in Illinois, and it's just slowed down immensely. And they're going to basically be, comically enough, going into overtime if come Sunday, Monday morning, you know, they don't figure out what the hell they're going to do, if they're going to cut up a tax break or what. You know, the Bears are basically going to fold and go, all right, you know, we're out. We're going east. Because what's taken them 3 years to go ahead and try and legislate and figure out and gerrymander or whatever it is that they're doing there, it's basically taken Hammond all of 3 months to get committees together and a couple politicians and go, okay, here's what we can ballpark you for. Because the Bears are wanting to not pay a horrible amount of taxes and they're wanting a modern stadium.
Yeah.
And best of all, they've got a spot right off the lake. It's not like Michigan, there's not as many dead bodies in it, you know. Wolf Lake, so I mean, there's less corpses, so, you know, people get used to it.
It's mind-blowing to me, the Bears no longer being in Chicago.
Yeah, it's gotten that bad, dude.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's Brandon Johnson is trying to keep them at Soldiers Field. And they're just like, no, it's old, it's decrepit, you're in debt with that. We need something bigger, we need something newer, we need something sturdier for what we want to do. It's basically going to become a giant parking lot until someone like Rammstein or Disturbed comes in. Then they're going to chase all the homeless people out and tell Rammstein, look, you want to come play there? You got to chase all the homeless out naked. And knowing Rammstein, they'll probably do that.
Yeah, they would.
Oh, yeah.
I figured it would honestly be in part of their contract clause.
Yeah, it was one thing I didn't get to see. Well, last time they played at Soldiers Field, actually, I was like, wait, where's the nudity and beating the hell out of each other? I'm only seeing people beating the hell out of each other. You know, it's like they basically did German Mortal Kombat fisticuffs on some inflatable rafts that they went and paraded into the crowd, and people just had the physical strength to hold them up while they're just like, you know, still relatively clothed, singing and beating the crap out of each other because it's fucking Rammstein, you know. But
so
yeah,
let me ask you.
Yeah,
I got a feeling I know the answer. I know the answer to this question already. Once the Bears, if they do officially move to Hammond, let me guess, you're gonna get season tickets, aren't you?
If it's affordable, yeah. I mean, I might be lucky and get like a residence discount.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. To be fair, though, not everyone like me is enthused as shit. The proposed 1% tax that they're going to try and put on food and just general necessities, and that has a lot of people over in Hammond, in Lake County and Indiana in general, kind of pissed off. Like, you know, what the hell? And with the last stream that we did, it failed miserably because there's just no signal. The data center that's being constructed over in Hobart for Amazon, and then the one that's possibly going to be built in LaPorte for, I believe it's Citadel was the corporation. They call it Project Shirley. Due to those coming, a lot of people are concerned, and this is in particular about like, okay, well, how long is it going to take the Bears Stadium to be built? You know, if they finish in a few years and some of these data centers are around, all right, are we going to be increasing the power capacity of the power grid? Because the power grid is fairly old, and at least over in, let's see here, over in Gary, sometimes Hammond, and let's see here. So there's one or two places over in Lake County that I'm forgetting. But might be Lake Station? Might be Lake Station, yeah. But Lake Station, yeah. Every now and again, they tend to have problems with blackouts going on. Just, you know, they get these things called windstorms, or they get really bad thunderstorms, and they end up having a couple trees fall, knock out a whole bunch of power lines, destroy a whole bunch of equipment. Thankfully, no substations have been horribly damaged yet. Or there was that one time where the winter got really bad and the power went out for 3 days, so got stuff like that happens. So people are concerned that if that happens, and all right, that happens regularly, and I don't know. And people are concerned that if all these three things be built simultaneously in the area, is going to wind up basically destroying the power grid, what's left of it, rather, and throw everyone back into the Stone Age. So it's one of those, all right, well, let's see what the Bears are bringing as far as infrastructure, and if the 1% tax is going to stick or not, because it's proposed, not passed. They're proposing it because they want to try and sweeten the deal to get them here so that we could basically fleece the living crap out of all the tourists and have repeat tourists. Because thankfully, unlike Chicago, you don't need a concealed carry permit to go ahead and protect yourself from your, you know, stereotypical thug. And on top of that, we don't have as much insane gun crime in Hammond as we do in Chicago. So, yeah, people aren't avidly running around shooting and stabbing each other and lighting shit on fire. So, yeah, I think we can provide a pretty decent, hospitable environment for people so that we can get repeat business once the Bears come and maybe some other people come. Hey, maybe we'll get the White Sox too, you know? Brandon Johnson can go ahead and keep the Cubs as far as I'm concerned, you know? But, I don't know, we'll wait and see. Let me guess, the dogs ate the power cords again on you? Oh, dogs like ladies power cords. That shit happens. Anyways, now that we actually have the background music working, working for a change. Let me go ahead and see if we can get some of the news coverage as far as the Bears possibly leaving. Let me see here. Cooperate with me, you machinery.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Now you got it working.
Yeah. It's it was some fun. It just decided to not cooperate at all.
That's why most of the stuff that I work with, everything's wired. The webcam is some cheap piece of garbage from Walmart that's wired. This thing is surprisingly less than the web camera, and I got it from Five Below, and it works very well. What the hell else do I have here that's wired? So I get two of those. Well, there's the external, but that's the one that I have the video games on, which the externals and all that I'm going to get into when we do our brief announcements, after we at least handle a couple topics, so I can bore everyone with the company crap.
Wilson also didn't hold back.
I'm down.
Sharing his opinion on the Chicago Bears mega projects bill, and he really made it clear here. He is not giving up on keeping the team at Soldier Field like he proposed 2 years ago. So the mega projects bill would allow the Bears to negotiate a payment to taxing bodies like a school district, park district, and Cook County instead of paying property taxes. And the mayor started off by saying Soldier Field is the best and only place for the Bears.
I'm going to, of course, continue to fight for Chicago, but it's not just the best place for the Bears to play, the lakefront. It's the most economically sound as well as economically stable idea for the Bears to remain in Chicago.
Chicago is no longer an option to keep the Bears in Illinois, specifically when it comes to a new dome stadium. And the mayor also criticized the mega projects bill. Representative Cam Buckner is the author of the bill. So the mayor argues it gives tax breaks to $1 billion corporation like the Bears instead of focusing on property owners. Representative Buckner's bill would take half the money the Bears or the mega project developers would pay instead of property taxes and divide it between local governments for property tax rebates and the rest of the state.
The type of tax structure that they would set up for large corporations and billionaires without, a clear pathway to provide certainty as well as equity for everyday working people. I believe that that's a mismatch there. And quite frankly, look, the infrastructure that they're even discussing in the suburbs, those infrastructure needs have been present on the lakefront for a very long time.
So the mayor said he has other stadium sites to keep in mind to keep the Bears in Chicago, but he didn't go into specific places.
For 105 years, the Chicago Bears have called Chicago home. 5 generations of families have grown up watching them play. And on May 21st, 2026, the team that has been part of the city's identity since 1920 made it official. Chicago is no longer good enough for them. In a written statement, a franchise worth nearly $9 billion told the mayor and the people of Chicago that there is, in their own words, no viable site left in the city. Read that.
I want to pause just a little bit, not just so we don't get flagged, but think about the money on that. That's a lot of money. $9 billion. $9 billion out of the city. Gone. Going somewhere else, either going to the suburbs or likely, due to the bogging down that they've got going on, likely Hammond, Indiana. So that's a $9 billion surplus to 20 minutes east in another state, to where they're likely going to go ahead and not squander everything and take a day and a year to pass bills. I mean, Scoop, think about that. The city's going to lose $9 billion.
Yeah, that's insane. I was just thinking, somebody should honestly crunch the numbers and look at, like, let's say here in New York, what AOC did to Amazon that got them to leave and how many billions of dollars that cost New York. and the Bears leaving Chicago. Never mind money, just that's part of like Chicago's culture is now walking away from it.
Oh yeah, dude,
we should really do a tally of how much damage these we got to do a tally of how much damage these Democrats are doing to the country. Like,
we
seriously.
can do a spreadsheet. I mean, I'm low on data, but I can at least do a spreadsheet.
We should try talking to a few different people. See, like there's all these other YouTubers who spend all this time making graphs and charts and all sorts of shit because that's their shtick.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know, honestly,
what's his name?
Rudyard Lynch. What if all hissed?
Yeah, what if all hissed? He would be a good one to go for it. And Mentis Wave.
Yeah, I could try hitting them both up. I think we had a better shot with Rudyard Lynch. He seems more down to correspond with people.
Yeah, he's been making the rounds lately. He's been doing all right for himself.
Yeah, he's young too, that kid. He's half my age. So
yeah, he's younger than me, which is surprising.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's nice to see that these young kids, don't all have their head up their ass, and some of them are actually getting out there and trying to do stuff to help. I mean, I don't know what topic you were looking to segue into next, but we've had a lot of good luck with 2A so far the past week.
It's been all right. The one thing I'm actually waiting for is I'm waiting to figure out, okay, when are we actually getting a court date? Because as far as like the Supreme Court's going and all that, there is a major challenge to the FOID card in the state of Illinois and the entire scheme that they have related to it. And if the Supreme Court goes ahead and takes up this case, this can wind up making shit significantly easier for a lot of people. Because
good.
Let's see here. There was a short that I had sent you a while ago. Let me see if I can find it, of a guy just briefly summarizing all of the problems with conceal and carry and all that in the FOID card, just because it's been a ridiculous Ponzi scheme. There we go. Let me go pull this up here in another tab. I found it. Okay, good. Because remember, we did pass the Bruin decision, which says that, okay, if anyone, from Fed on down is going to go ahead and put in firearms regulations, they need to look at text, history, and tradition of that locale, of what county that locale makes up. And then from there on up, okay, does it affect the township? Does it affect the city? Does it affect the state? What's the thing that they have there? Are we talking AR guys, AK guys, or is everyone still running around with fully semi-automatic machine crossbows from semi-modern Europe? Because those are somehow a thing now. Oh yeah, the crap that the Europeans are trying to sell us is actually very inventive. I'll have to do that for another episode, because it's all sorts of just expletively wild. But all right, let me go ahead and show this. This will be really quick. Quick, simple, to the point.
These are the gun laws in Illinois in 60 seconds or less. Let's get right into it. In Illinois, to purchase a gun or even be in possession of guns and ammo, you need what's known as a FOID card. Typically, you have to be at least 21 years old and they cost $10. And when purchasing a firearm in Illinois, there's a 72-hour mandatory waiting period from the point of sale before.
Now, correction, it has jumped up from $10. When I went and had mine initially, it was $20, almost $30 after taxes and fees and all that. So the base value of what they're going to stick you with is still probably around there. They may have changed it at this time, but yeah, initially it was $10, then it went up to $20, and now it's sitting between $20 and $30, given bureaucracy and taxes.
For the buyer, If you live within the jurisdiction of Cook County, which includes Chicago, there is a 1 firearm per 30-day purchase limit. Chicago has also banned adding a laser to your firearm. Now, Illinois is a shall-issue state, which means that you need a license to carry. Now, to get a concealed carry license, you must be at least 21 years old. A 16-hour class is required, and the permits last up to 5 years. Contrary to popular belief, fingerprints are not required as part of the law. Now, typically,
He is correct on that. You don't need to be fingerprinted, but it is encouraged that you do get fingerprinted because it gives you the guarantee that this shit will be done quicker.
Yeah, gotcha.
get an Illinois CCL, you need to be an Illinois resident. But Illinois does offer CCL permits to these 5 other states.
Okay, now this right here is the basis of the lawsuit, is the fact that those are the only other states you can be a citizen of outside of Illinois itself and have a concealed and carry permit for the state of Illinois.
Okay.
So if you're not from Idaho, Arkansas, Mississippi, Nevada, or Texas, then well, you basically would have to go through the complicated process of being a dual state resident between the state you live in and the state of Illinois. And then you'd have to go ahead and get your FOID card, go through all the other stuff he mentioned, and then pay. Jesus, I think when I initially took my conceal and carry class, I got to go ahead and re-up that again in the near future. I think it was around $400, give or take, and I had to do that at Range USA over in Mokina. At the time, I think it was called Shoot Point Blank. But yeah, it's an easy class, but yeah, it's expensive, and you're gonna have to take 2 PTO days more often than not, because they do not. I have not found a place that does it on the weekend. Yeah, so Monday through Friday, unless you're lucky and somebody does it on a Saturday. And usually, all the carry classes are always in the morning. Thankfully, you don't need to take a class for your FOID card, but usually you need a driver's license. They were very insistent when I take the carry class that, look, if you are getting your FOID card, get your driver's license, then get your FOID card, then get your carry permit. Because normally if you have a state ID, at least back then a few years ago, they really didn't want to give you a carry permit. They wanted to have everything tied to your driver's license, which was why more often than not people had various conspiracies about the Chicago Police Department, and in particular, previous Mayor Rahm Emanuel wanting to indirectly disarm everybody by holding them up legally with various fines, fees, and downright ancient and questionable parking tickets, speeding tickets, anything of that nature that they could find just to go, you've got a blight on your driver's license. That means we're going to take your physical driver's license. Now you can't have your FOID. Now you can't have your carry permit because you don't have the physical driver's license. You know, you just get issued a ticket that you have to drive on in the state of Illinois. If, you get pulled over and just turns out you've got 8 parking tickets and 4 speeding tickets from the years 1973, 1992, and somehow 1953, 8, and 1 somehow. Just because, you're going to need a lure to clear that up.
And the rest of America who have valid firearm permits from their state. Are they honored in Illinois? Fuck no, Illinois does not recognize any permit from any other state. What, you thought this was land of the free for real? But non-residents who do have a valid firearm carry permit from their state can carry a loaded handgun in their vehicle. And if they leave their vehicle, their car must be locked and their handgun left behind in a closed compartment. And if you're non-resident without a permit, you must stow away any firearms and or ammo in the trunk of your vehicle, and guns must be unloaded and carried. Now, we're all well aware of the infamous AR ban here in Illinois.
And that in particular is the second reason why the Supreme Court is trying to take up that case. Because that's what you have to do if you're a non-resident of the state of Illinois and you're coming into the state of Illinois. And sometimes what will happen is they'll want you to have your firearm unloaded, locked into a case. Has to have a lock on the case. And then you have to have your ammunition locked in another case that has a lock on it. And then the magazines for your firearm also locked into a case with a lock on it. And more often than not, they will probably also have an absolute fucking conniption if the magazines for any of your firearms exceeds 10 rounds. Especially if you're in Chicago. It's 10 rounds across the board, except for shotgun. Then it's like, 6. 10 rounds for pistol, 10 rounds for rifle, 6 for shotgun, and then that's all you get, sucker. And for the rest of Illinois, well, they're a little bit more lenient, say, okay. 15 rounds for the pistol.
Illinois. On January 10, 2023, Illinois has imposed a ban on the sale, manufacture, or transfer of assault weapons and AR-15 style rifles. And any individuals who own such firearms prior to the ban were required to register them with the Illinois State Police by January 1st, 2024. This was crucial to retain legal possession. Now, what if you own an AR and you didn't register it by the deadline? Well, ask your lawyer, don't ask me, because I do not want to be an accessory to your crime. Now, Illinois has also imposed a ban on any magazine over 50 rounds for handguns and 10 rounds for rifles. Although a federal judge ruled it unconstitutional in November of 2024, Illinois doesn't give a f***, and the ban is currently in effect until ongoing litigation. Red light. And even with a permit, carrying is prohibited in these locations.
And that litigation is also why that the Supreme Court of the United States is trying to take up the whole thing. Because these are the areas where you are restricted to have a firearm, and as he had mentioned, you have what they call in Chicago the Blair Lester Holt assault weapons ban, which has the restrictions that he mentioned for firearms. And unless you're a Chicago police officer, a security officer who's gainfully employed or trying to find work, if lucky they'll let you have it if you're trying to find work, or some other type of first responder, you can't have body armor. You're just SOL.
Wow.
You can't own it. Yep. I found that out when I was being a security officer. I got my perk card, and that basically allowed me to lawfully purchase and possess body armor. And I was like, okay, cool, yay, I can use that for when I become a sergeant or something, or I get to a site that's relatively crazy. And then I found out very quickly that, one, yes, it's going to be very expensive. 2, there's only a handful of people in the state of Illinois that will fucking give anyone that because they're like, yeah, you're going to rob a liquor store. No, I'm a security officer. Really? Do you have a perk card and a FOID card and a carry permit? I got the perk card and I got the FOID card. I'm waiting for do you have any paperwork that says you got your carry permit? Jesus. Literally, you need almost 3 kinds of IDs to get a hold of any body armor whatsoever. Unless you're trying to get the sports drink that's called body armor. Then thankfully, I don't think they're going to ID you yet for that. If you're lucky. But yeah, if you're going on the Metro or the CTA, you cannot have a firearm on your persons whatsoever. That's a no-no. Same with airports. But that one's kind of normal. That's, something pretty much, for the most part, everyone's known as okay. It's too much trouble to go ahead and take a firearm on an airplane. When I took the Illinois Conceal and Carry Permit class, that's the one thing Blade, our teacher, told us is if you're going to fly anywhere, don't fucking bother. If you're flying from point A to point B and you're going to need your gun at point B, drive. Just drive. It'll be so much easier. And local parks and playgrounds. This was a major one, too, because I remember last May Day. Nope. May Day already passed. So, Commie Day last year. Not this year, but last year when we were actually able to make it downtown. I had to ask the police because I wasn't too sure about, the sensitive places because they, depending on this or that or the other. I remember playgrounds were the thing, but I was like, hold on, was it parks or not? So I had to literally wave a guy down before I got into the park with, hey, as far as restricted areas, are parks somewhere that's restricted for carrying? I was like, yeah, it's been that way for like years. You didn't know that? And I was like, no, that's why I'm asking. He's like, oh, all right, yeah, don't do it. So, yeah, that was a whole lot of not fun. And then bars and casinos. Apparently we have casinos now, at least, somewhere in Illinois. Bars, that's always been a thing. Child care facilities, that's a relatively new thing. And then schools, yes, in the modern century, they don't want you to have guns in schools for reasons. They hardly want the security officers there to have guns for reasons. But yes, so child care facilities, they don't want anyone armed for some ridiculous reason. Hospitals and nursing homes, okay, that's something that they've had forever. The same with government buildings. But that's that in a nutshell. That's why most of us who are tired of that bullshit are basically waiting for the Supreme Court of the United States to go ahead and actually take that up. so that hopefully we're not going to have to deal with that crap anymore, and so many people are not going to have to deal with that crap either. Because, I mean, hell, we've got the old saying, you come to Chicago and you stay for the food, but you got shots. So, yeah, come for the food, stay because you got shot. You stay permanently. Outside of that, there was, let's see here. The Supreme Court is ongoing with its arguments to try and keep the NFA, if I remember correctly. They're basically trying to say that despite the fact that you don't have to pay a tax on NFA items, that we still need the National Firearms Act from the Dark Ages. Back when people would still commonly get syphilis and they didn't know what the fuck a refrigerator was. So yeah, that's regrettably still a thing. So it's more waiting to see what all happens with that. The ATF is
Well, what do you
hot
think is
trouble.
going to happen?
Oh hell, what I think is going to happen? The NFA, I think, regrettably, we're going to be stuck with for a while. Just because it's very difficult to get government to stop oppressing and regulating. Good, bad, or indifferent. You know, government exists to make rules. And this is the one rule they've had since the Dark Ages. You know, back before we had refrigerators. Back when we were still using oil and everything. Oh wait, we still are using oil. We just turn better turbines, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, they literally had to go to before World War II for this and go, oh no, this is totally something we need to keep because we say so. And it's like, if there's no tax, what the hell? And unless probably Alito can go ahead and cause enough of a stir with the other justices, it's likely we're going to get stuck with it. It'll just be something that'll be a gray area law where it's like, yeah, it's going to depend on whatever court you wind up into if they decide for NFA or against NFA, I guess.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to be optimistic, not just with the NFA, but like with what's going on with the ATF.
Yeah, the ATF's new head is decent. That's the one interesting thing is they said that they're going to try and curtail a bunch of regulations. Though it seems that they did pull something akin to the Cobra militia yet again. And they went after a YouTuber. So Representative Herrera is sticking his neck up for that poor guy. Because from the sound of it, it seems like, one, we'll have to find a video on it, but from what I do loosely, for the most part, remember about it, it went that basically this guy had in his possession tannerite. And the ATF decided, all right, we're going to look into this guy because, well, he's a nobody YouTuber. He's not Mr. Brandon Herrera. We can totally get this guy. Just like, for those who remember, a YouTuber who was very famous for firearms, and he had an RPG and showed it off for his million subscribers, FPS Russia. Yeah, that kid wind up just the police would not leave him alone. They would not stop going and citing him. They would not stop saying, okay, well, we think you're getting stuff from the black market. And the mysterious death that happened with his best friend that was helping him make a channel and do a whole bunch of firearm stuff, you know, they just perpetually made an albatross out of it for FPS Russia. And just, they literally, the local police literally killed the kid's career. So it seems that the ATF is in a pickle because on one hand, people are glad that they say that they're going to stop regulating. But on the other hand, people are still not trusting them because it looks like they basically decided, okay, we're going to pull an FPS Russia and mix in a little bit of Cobra militia in there. And I encourage everyone that's curious about that to go ahead and watch Brandon Herrera's YouTube channel, because he does a lot more justice than I do, because I never heard of this dang kid. I just heard about some of this particular circumstances about how he had a couple materials, but having his materials separately in small batches was considered possibly legal for where he lived. So being that the ATF had done, I don't know, Fast and Furious, some people are saying that there's some shenanigans, and they're calling on President Trump to forgive the guy and just give him a presidential pardon and go, okay, kid, yeah, go back to having fun and dancing around like Mick Jagger with an AR. Because that's, I guess, what this guy was known for until getting arrested by the ATF for them doing some kind of Cobra Militia-esque plan of some kind or another. Plant, operation, conspiracy, something like that. Because that's basically what went on with that. You remember the whole thing with the... pretty much, yeah. You remember the whole thing with the Cobra Militia, Scoob?
What? You mean Cobra from G.I. Joe?
Ironically, no, not Cobra from G.I. Joe. It was basically a couple of dudes that were up in Razorfist's neck of the woods who would just do hunting and trap shooting and shit like that. And the ATF and the FBI and the NSA decided, hey, we need to go ahead and infiltrate these three old fuckers who decide that they want to go turkey shooting on the weekends. And we're going to call them the Cobra Militia.
Tax dollars to go out to Arizona to chase the retirees is what you're telling me?
I shit you not.
Oh, God.
Razorfist made an amazing video on it, and yes, this is something they did when I was in diapers, if memory suits me correctly. If anything, I'm sure I could still find that.
Unreal. It boggles my mind, it really does. I don't understand half the time why the government does the shit that it does.
Welcome to government. This is just what they do.
Yeah.
All right, let me see here. Let's see, does he have it? Oh, damn, I'm not finding it. For some reason, it's given me his channel, but it's given him covering the movie Cobra by Sylvester Stallone. Oh well. I guess we'll just have to tell people to go ahead and check his channel and look it up. But yeah, no, this is actually something that they did back in yesteryears. Long story short. Jesus, you keep dropping out of here. You're having more technical difficulties than this guy with his red fucking eyes.
Yeah, I don't understand myself. It's who the hell knows? They keep up every time I wake up. This thing says, new updates. We got to update this, update that, and they keep updating everything, and then I get glitches. So,
what you need to do is you need to get yourself wired equipment like what I got. Look, if you're in real dire straits, come August, September, I'll see what I can put into a box and get out to you with the receipts, just in case anything breaks. Because that's how I'm able to get this to work. It's just these two cheap things. And then one thing that'll also work, if you get your workstation situated, go ahead and actually take a phone cord. Make sure it's a modern one, like a modern Ethernet cord. Plug one end into the computer, plug the other into the router.
Yeah, I do that.
That'll make shit so much easier on you.
Yeah, definitely. So what else do we have?
Well, we've got one thing that I never expected to really get mainstream, but, well, then again, we are losing the Bears, so the secessionists seem to be succeeding.
Really?
In the part. Oh, it's hilarious. Oh, long story short, for several years, there's been people who have wanted to basically take Chicago out of the state of Illinois and then have Chicago and Cook County be its own state and then have the rest of Illinois just be Illinois.
Okay.
And lately, they've actually caught some steam, which is good. The one thing that I never really expected to happen is the mainstream media actually went and found a whole bunch of these people and interviewed them and asked them politely, well, why do you want to leave Illinois? Why don't you go move to Indiana? Why do you want to try and make a separate state within the state? Now, let me see if I got the video for this. There we go. Tiny ass fucking font. Anyways, here we go. As you can see, it's Fox News. Wow, holy crap, they actually covered this. It's surprising.
Bills are moving at the Capitol. The Illinois legislative session ends on Sunday, and we are watching some of the big bills. The mega projects bill, housing legislation, and insurance reform. But first, there's a movement happening just further from the Capitol. Some want to split Illinois into two separate states, and it's gaining traction beyond rural counties. In fact, it's reached the Chicago suburbs. The group is called New Illinois, and they're going to be holding meetings in Barrington every weekend to connect with people who are passionate about leaving Illinois without actually leaving. So joining us now is the chairman of New Illinois, G.H. Merritt. G.H., thanks so much for being here. All right, why do you want to do this? I said, what? It looks like we're having some group here. The group is saying that this is not a partisan issue. It's not a Democrat or Republican issue. This has really become a city, county, and kind of a rural divide there. All right, GH, can you hear us now?
Yep.
Okay, so GH, why do you want to do this?
Okay, but first of all, I got to say it's a misconception to think this comes from downstate. People downstate may have been talking about this for 100 years, but New Illinois was started in the collar counties, and we have county committees all over the state, from the Wisconsin state line down to the Kentucky state line. And so the reason we want to do this is because outside of Cook County, people in the rest of the state of Illinois do not have meaningful representative government. And so Cook County has 40% of the population. The other 101 counties collectively have 60% of the population. But it's to a point where you could actually say that we are experiencing taxation without representation.
So how would the lines work, GH?
Well, we would love to see 101 counties in New Illinois and Old Illinois be Chicago, Cook, and whoever else wanted to stay with them. But realistically, There's another group besides New Illinois working for a state split, and the name of that organization is Illinois Separation Referendum. Their goal is to put an advisory referendum on the ballots in all of the counties. So far,
here we go. Non-binding separation referendum, all the deep red ones. So we got 1, we got 2, we got 3, we got 4, we got 5, we got 6. Oh, we've got quite a few of them. And the orange ones are the ones that have a separation committee. We got 1, we got 2, we got 3. Oh boy. Wow. So ain't that something?
It's been on the ballot in 33 counties. In each case, it's won by a landslide. This November, it could be on as many as 20 other county ballots. And so I think once they get up to the caller counties, it's not going to be by county. It will be an advisory referendum by township so that you can really tell what is the will of the people. And so our goal is to include all the areas of the state of Illinois that want to be included.
So I used to live in downstate Illinois. I lived in Quincy, Illinois for a little bit, lived in Champaign, Illinois. So I can give personal experience that there is resentment from downstate Illinois in Chicago, in Cook County. But what's the likelihood of this? Because doesn't it have to be approved by both the Illinois legislature and Congress? And after all, the majority of the Illinois state legislature is run by Democrats. And a lot of them, there's a big contingency from the Chicago area.
Sure. Well, we think that we can have a win-win scenario here. One thing that they probably aren't going to tell you too much, our state will admit to being $147 billion in debt because of pensions, but other sources will say that the state's debt really is closer to $300 billion. And Illinois has been on a path to go over a financial cliff for a very long time. And so we believe that the closer the state gets to the brink of that cliff, they'll be more willing to negotiate with us. And I think it's really important, again, to underscore, even though it sounds like I'm lying, this is not a partisan issue. It so happens that there's more blue people in Chicago and more red people downstate. But this is really related to a 1964 Supreme Court ruling, Reynolds v. Sims. And what that ruling did was took away the way that states determine their Senate districts. And prior to that, state legislatures were modeled after the U.S. Congress with the Great Compromise that was intended to protect the voice of the minority. It was intended so the little states wouldn't be trampled by the big states. And so all the states used that system, and even though Illinois was always divided between downstate and the city, things worked better. Everett Dirksen, when that ruling came down, warned that in any state with a sizable city, all power of state government would be absorbed into that city and the rural people would lose their voice. He was right. That happened. And that's why you have movements like this in several different states, not just Illinois. And so that's the reason this is happening. When you have absorbed power, you have unaccountability, you have increased corruption, and you end up with all that debt.
If I can get...
And that's the long and short of that on. In particular, the debts. Because the one thing that lots of people don't know in particular is that out of all the 50 states, from like number 1 best run to like 50 the worst run, we're like number 48, 47 in Illinois.
Okay.
We're one of the worst run states, and we've got rampant corruption and rampant debt. So the debt crisis in Illinois getting so bad that basically they have to go bankrupt or break up like Yugoslavia might actually happen.
Well, I mean, this could be something similar to, like, look at Virginia and West Virginia.
Yep.
What would it be, like Illinois and then like East Illinois or something?
No, they actually call it New Illinois. They got a website for that. Let me go grab that real quick. There we go. They have a website. New Illinois. Leaving Illinois without moving. Demand a new state. They mentioned they're nonpartisan, nonprofits. They are a 501c4. Started in 2023. Oh, they've got Facebook, they've got Parler, and they've got Rumble. Hey, not too bad for them. And let's see here. What is their mission? To simplify it. Okay. Well, envisions a new state from a tyrannical form of government where residents will be able to experience some government representing their constitutional rights. They exist to educate Illinois citizens about the right to form a new state within the state of Illinois, according to the procedure within the U.S. Constitution, following, oh yes, you are correct, the West Virginia model. And they're going to call it New Illinois. They even have a deer here for their symbol instead of a dead body on Lower Wacker. Oh, look, they even got t-shirts. Oh, looky, they made their own flag. Hey, look at that, huh? The state of New Illinois.
That's a pretty cool flag.
Hey, not bad.
Yeah, I like that.
Of the people, by the people, for the people. Nice. Yeah, that's more or less their whole general idea. They're gonna essentially try and go ahead and take whoever they can take on a referendum and technically get the hell out of Dodge. Let's see here. What else do we have with their abouts? Let's see here. Educational nonprofit. We're addressing long-standing divide in the state of Illinois. The divide is not between Democrat and Republicans. It's urban versus rural. Ooh, I can hear Rudyard Lynch and Timmy Pool screaming Civil War at each other as they go slap a bunch of rubber chickens around like they're at a Svengoolie fest. Oh my, urban versus rural. Small town and suburban. There are two different places, both culturally and economically. Legislation policies addressing the needs and best interests of a major urban area like Chicago or Cook County, not necessarily the best interests of the rest of the state. Shit, Sherlock. Where the hell do you think I moved? Issues Illinois focuses on are a representative government, government corruption, and our state's fiscal catastrophe. Yeah, $300 billion, 147 of that being just because of pensions. Oh yeah, that's a lot of money to lose there. And come November, they've been able to get enough people to where this is actually going to be something that they're going to be voting on.
All right, this is going to be interesting. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you have any interest, let's say, of relocating to New Illinois?
They'd have to cut us a really good deal, man. I'm not going to lie. They have to cut us a really good deal, and there'd have to be a decent place to work because I'm not going to lie, man. I very much like the New Illinois plan. It's something that a lot of people have talked about. Though I've been very much a Chicago person ever since. This is one thing just about everybody will fucking tell you. Until we got our last three mayors, everything was relatively fine. There was some trouble in that, but it wasn't too bad. As soon as Mayor Rahm Emanuel went in, everyone was like, all right, well, maybe this is Obama's guy. Maybe it's not going to suck. And then they learned, oh, shit, we're wrong. And they decided, all right, well, let's try someone that's not Jewish. Let's go for a black woman that's a resident here. Maybe it's not going to be so bad. And then, oh, shit, the riots are coming. And this woman decided that she didn't know what the hell strategy was called and pushed them out of downtown and into the rest of the city. So, yeah, everyone went, oh shit, well, that can't be bad. And then by a fart miracle, we got Mayor Idi Amin. And, yeah. Yeah. It's been really bad. I mean, there were a lot of people that were upset, but Jesus, out of all the out of all the mayors we've had in every neighborhood where we've had aldermen, I haven't seen so many people pissed as the last 3 mayors we've had. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, Jesus, Mayor Daley Sr. and Jr., when they were around, like, people were like worried about the nepotism and the, okay, well, who's actually going to get construction done? We know there's a crooked thing with the mop. Yeah, people, that's pennies. That's peanuts compared to the things everyone's complaining about now. But I don't know. That's something I ought to talk to the new Illinois people about, just for the giggles of it, because I like where we're at, but were I to theoretically entertain such a thing, the one place that I know would actually be a decent place would be the city of Quincy. President Trump went there once to go ahead and speak when he was running last time around. And it looks like that paid off for him, and Quincy was able to actually get a lot of people to move from states they were at to Quincy, Illinois, because they had a massive plan to go ahead and not just build up the city of Quincy, but to actually have job placement, because that was a very major thing, because most people went, wait, where the hell is Quincy? Just because no one had heard of it. I hadn't heard of it until a few years ago, because all I knew was like Schaumburg, like, you know, the major suburbs, and I never heard of another city other than Chicago, you know, and like, I guess Rockford, if you want to consider them a city, that's like whatever way you want to throw it with that. So I don't know if their new capital becomes Quincy, that might, that might be an interesting idea.
Cool. So move from Gary to Quincy.
Perhaps we'll have to see what they got going on.
Speaking of what's going on, what else we got cooking?
We got this short one that I found, which was actually very interesting. Is we're having fertilizer trouble nowadays. So we're looking at, in the near future, having a fertilizer apocalypse. Some speculate that it might be as bad as the fertilizer apocalypse that Bangladesh had.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Because for those that don't know, we're going to keep it simple. Bangladesh decided they want to have a very, some would say, liberal green movement, to where they wanted organic everything, and they got rid of chemical fertilizers, and their organic fertilizers were just not as good. And because they said, no, we're sticking to it, we're going organic, we're going green, we're going Al Gore to the extreme, baby, their economy went into the shitter. People wound up starving. And what wound up happening recently is they had the fertilizer trouble, they had the economic trouble, and then they decided, you know what, we're going to top this off by trying to control the internet. And then all the youngsters of Bangladesh lost their shit, and they grabbed their Jolly Roger flag. We've talked about this in one of our test streams that we did.
Right.
Because there is a Jolly Roger flag from One Piece, and the kids used that for their movement, and they quite literally stormed their version of Washington, D.C., and they just overthrew their government. Just dragged out a whole bunch of people, stripped them naked, threw rocks at them, and threw them into a river. Made them run back and forth through this river as they're throwing rocks and stuff. It got really bad. So, yeah. Some people are worried that it might get as bad as Bangladesh because it's hitting the southern states of the U.S. fairly hard. So here, let me see. Where do I got Weon cats? Because they're as much crap as most people give mainstream media. You know what? I think we ought to be, if we're going to have mainstream media, we need to follow these people over in India, what they're doing. Watch how short and simple these people are when they bring up just news.
All right, I'm gonna grab a refill while doing this.
All right. Let me know when you're ready to roll, my guy.
No, go ahead. I'm just saying I'm grabbing a refill, so that's why I'm not going to be talking.
Oh, okay. All right. I misunderstood you. All right. Gotcha.
America's farming sector is facing a serious crisis. Rice, cotton, and peanut growers are the most exposed to the current U.S. fertilizer crisis. More than 80% of producers in each of the key three categories say they simply cannot afford the inputs they need this season. That means seed, soil, nutrients, and crop chemicals are out of reach for the majority of American farmers in these segments. But here is what makes this even more critical. Well, these crops are not grown everywhere. They are overwhelmingly concentrated in America's South. States like Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, and Texas dominate production of rice, cotton, and peanuts. And the South was the least prepared for this crisis. Only 19% of farmers in the southern United States pre-booked their fertilizer ahead of the price spike. Compare that to other regions where advanced purchasing offered some protection, while southern farmers largely did not have that cushion. Why does this matter beyond the farm gate? Because these are not niche crops. Cotton feeds America's textile supply chain. Peanuts are a staple food product. Rice feeds millions of households across the country and is a major export commodity. If more than 80% of producers cannot afford to grow these crops properly this season, output will fall. Prices at the supermarket will rise. Export commitments could be missed. The fertilizer crisis itself is rooted in global supply disruptions, high energy costs, and trade tensions that have driven input prices sharply higher since late 2025. Washington has so far offered limited relief. Farm groups are now pushing for emergency subsidies and input credit programs. For now, the fields in America's South face an uncertain planting season. We'll have to wait and watch.
Watch it 10 minutes ago on your phone, and you'll see that whole clip.
Jeez, right? So rice costs, peanut costs, and just about everything
Cotton.
growing in the South is going to skyrocket in cost.
Possibly. They're looking for subsidies from the federal government, and the other thing they're trying to do is see if they can get more fertilizer. But yeah, it's not looking very good.
Well, because rice is a staple of pork. Rice and beans is what the majority of pork subsists on.
Yes, 80% of like the graph that she just showed.
America's
Yeah, I'll bring that up briefly. Let's see here. Unable to afford fertilizer. Yes. Rice is at 80%, cotton's at 80%, peanuts are at 80%.
And soybeans, corn, and wheat
Are at the lower percentiles, yeah.
But still, that means that basic necessities we need that most people need to survive, like rice and corn and wheat, you're going to be priced out of your average, rice and beans. So people who really need that, they're going to be like us.
Oh no, we'll be fine. We grow tons of corn in this state.
No, we don't grow food corn. We grow feed corn. There's a difference.
Yeah, we got good crops of sweet corn too, though. So we might not be hit as bad.
We probably still will because odds are we're getting it from the same fucking places anyway.
That's something we'll have to find out. I don't know offhand. Could be. But yeah, the one good thing about a lot of our rice is a lot of the rice we get is imported. Because the one thing that we get a lot of is basmati rice. That comes from India. And then there's the jasmine rice, which that might come from Thailand. That might come from Vietnam. Might be Vietnam, yeah. There's a couple different East Asian countries that we get that from. And that's usually what you'll find in your regular Aldi's and Walmart grocery stores. So it'll be in the big bags. they'll be like in the stereotypical movie bags, where it's like the big ass burlap sack of rice. Yeah, they'll be like in those. Yeah, that's the only good thing as far as rice. As far
the thing is the clothing as well is going to skyrocket too. Cotton. Majority of majority of what you see in the store is cotton, polyester. There's like blends. There's like next to nothing that's pure cotton. But even then, it's still going to be clothing average.
Yeah, that's
cost of living is going to skyrocket.
Yeah, that is a possibility. With that, or we might move to nylon clothing. That might be a thing.
Again, some people need 100% cotton just due to allergies. Nylon, like I myself, I can't wear nylon or polyester, anything in the Netherlands, just because chemistry.
Gotcha. Yep, we'll have to see what all happens with that.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Got the missus' attention with that one unknowingly. But
speaking of rice, I did not know this.
Yeah.
Budweiser is 25% rice.
Yes, Budweiser is not a wheat beer; it is a rice beer.
It's actually a corn beer. It's 70% corn.
Thailand, thank you. The basmati rice we got, or the jasmine rice, comes from Thailand. So that was the one thing I wanted to tell everyone, as far as to not horribly panic about the rice in particular, because a good portion of our rice is imported, as far as stuff you get in the grocery store. But yeah, you are right. Budweiser is not a wheat beer; it is a rice-made beer.
It's 70% corn, 25% rice, and the other 5% is, I'm guessing, like malted hops, barley, that sort of shit.
They've they use some type of malt in there. I don't think they use barley, because that's wheat.
They might just use just a drop of it for flavor.
Possibly. Shit, I couldn't tell. Usually whenever I drink Budweiser, it tastes like ass.
Well, yeah, because I did not know. Because I've had rice beer before. I'm like, because Budweiser has a different taste. I didn't know Budweiser, it's 70% corn. That's why. That explains a lot.
70% rice, I think, but yeah.
No, it's 25% rice, 70% corn.
Oh, I'd be damned then. Shit.
Yeah, no, I was in the same boat as you. I thought it was a rice beer. I came up on the thing. Apparently, when it says made with rice and fillers, the fillers is 70% corn. It's almost all corn.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. I think rice by itself would be too light. Have you ever had a Japanese beer?
Yes. It's not bad.
They're mostly rice. That's why.
Yeah. I've had a variety of sakes, and then there's one beer I like, although the irony is I think it's Chinese. It's Kirin.
Yeah,
is what it's called.
Yeah, it is Chinese. That is.
Okay, yeah. Because we were waiting for our spot over at one of the mega Japanese restaurants, so they're like, well, you guys can go to the bar if you want. So we said, fuck it, all right, sure, we'll go to the bar. And they actually had prices comparable to the Legion Hall that we're members at. And I went, well, all right, wow, that's wild. The only place other than the Legion Hall where beer is affordable, because beer is normally expensive. Wheat and the rice might be a good reason as to why that is. So I got like 2 bottles of Kirin, and I was like, no, that's not bad at all. And I think it was indeed a rice beer. But I like Weon as a news company, because how they did this whole segment of the fertilizer crisis, this is how you should do news. If you're going to be mainstream news and you're going to report what in the hell is going on, whether it's dogs caught in trees, or it's somebody trying to chainsaw a light pole down for some stupid reason. I like the way they go about it. They don't go on about orange man bad or red man good or any of that crazy nonsense. They just go, okay, well, we're going to give you the numbers, we're going to tell you why the hell it's going on, and then that's basically that. Simple and to the point. And let's see here. I have one website that ties in with this. And in a sense, also, let's see here. Where is it? It also ties in with what's going on with the conflict we got going on over in Iran. Oh, where the hell is it? I got it here somewhere. There we go. So, this website goes over the shortages of the fertilizer list. So the thing they explain is the Strait of Hormuz is one of the most critical channels in global agricultural supply chains. Around 30% of all international trade fertilizers flow through the Strait of Hormuz. So 30 to 36% of global exports and 20 to 30% of let's see, what do they call it? Urea exports, ammonia exports, and since us, the Jews and the Iranians, have been fighting over there, it's kind of sucks for most people. So that's a 95% decline in shit going through.
Just wish that shit would end already.
I hear you. Well, from what I understand, they've got some pretty sturdy bunkers they're hiding in or something. But yes, price data confirms severity of urea rose from $450 per ton on February to over $700 per ton by mid-March. 50% increase, and that is probably also why, like Weon said, a lot of people are trying to get subsidies to cover the cost of fertilizer because they just can't get their hands on it. Only 19% of people were able to afford a pre-order before all this crap went on. And then let's see here how bad things were before that. All right. Research published in Frontier in Plant Science shows that globally crops use only about 50% of applied nitrogen effectively. The rest is lost through radiation, leaching, runoff, and denitrification, I think it's called. Okay. God, this is a lot of complicated crap. Let's see here. Since 2020, fertilizer has accounted for 33 to 44% of corn operating costs and 34 to 45% of wheat operating costs, according to the USDA Economic Research. That's for the Illinois corn farmers, are projected to spend approximately $229 per acre on fertilizer in 2026. Those rates, losing half applied nitrogen, is not only an efficiency problem, it's a profitability crisis, and things going around are going to make it suck more balls. Alright, so basically, these guys are trying to do something to try and make it a bit of a better problem. You know, they're going to try and make something to go ahead and go, oh, okay, here, buy our stuff because this is going to be just as good as fertilizer. So take it with a grain of salt. We don't get any money from Phycoterra. I just found this article in particular and went, you know what? This explains why things are a little bit crazy. This explains why they're hairy. I have no idea if this stuff's going to work. Hopefully you don't get a third leg from it. But yeah, they're trying to go ahead and pad what they can and try and make a product that will actually help.
Hey, more power to them.
Yeah, I hope it works, in all honesty. Dude, I'm a city boy. I don't know nothing about farming no crap, okay? I know nothing about that. You know?
First time I ever seen a cow, I was 20.
God. I seen one when I was like 14.
I'd never seen them before at all. Like, just on the TV and movies. I was in college and we were driving past, and I was like, oh shit, cows. And they thought I was screwing with them.
But yeah, let's see here. They're saying that it's a soil amendment, not a fertilizer. Does not replace fertility program. activates native biology responsible for maximizing fertilizer. It feeds the bacteria, the fungi, the whole bunch of complicated crap that I don't know shit about. Boy, am I sorry I tried to read that. Okay, my bad. Oh, God. That got very complicated real quick. Holy crap. Started naming stuff off like a fucking pill bottle.
So what else do we got?
Okay, let's see here. We've got this one the missus showed to me, and I actually had a very good laugh at this because out of all the things that we've lost, this is the one thing we've actually gained in Chicago, and hopefully we'll keep it. Not for reasons I myself would actually like, because it's not my thing, but because if they're fortunate enough to keep the dang thing, this will be something that most of the people in my generation will enjoy because, well, they grew up with this and they didn't let it the hell go. And that is Pokemon. We literally have a Pokemon exhibit in Chicago.
Yeah, I'd heard about that. Hey, very cool.
It's one of those things that I have mixed feelings on because I grew out of Pokemon like when I was way young. I think I stopped that when I was like 10 years old. And then I went from Pokemon to Digimon to Yu-Gi-Oh! And playing quite literally when I was a young guy. Just because the revolving door of babysitters and everything going on at that time. I had my mother, myself, and a whole bunch of bikers down because when everyone needs to arrange babysitters and everyone needs to figure out, all right, we need the kids to go do something for a few hours while we figure out what the hell we're going to do. The parents left us the remote and we watched Yu-Gi-Oh! All of us kids. So parents had to literally go to Swap-O-Rama to get affordable Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards to get us to shut the hell up. And we somehow got the parents involved in that. The actual playing of the card game. Like, it wound up being a weekend thing at my ma's when we were, God, it was years ago. We were living in an apartment, and it'd be Ma, it'd be me, and it'd be Gio, and we'd play Yu-Gi-Oh! And the funny thing is, we read the rule books and we watched the TV. I got like 2, 3, 4 old bikers to sit down and go, okay, what is this crap? And I was like, let's just do like what they're doing on the TV show, and that's how you play. And it caught on, which is hilarious. So we completely bypassed the Pokemon pipeline and went straight to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because people who were able to understand it like how they understand how to change the motor on their bike. So yeah, we have the Pokemon exhibit.
Still pretty cool.
Oh, it is interesting. It's just, it's not my thing, so I'm just like, I wish to die. Let's see here. So here we go, the Pokemon exhibit. Once again. Oh wait, it's not Fox News? Holy crap, it's NBC. I don't know what's worse.
A new exhibit at the Field Museum pairs the modern fictional world of Pokemon with the ancient real world of dinosaur fossils.
It was this when I was 8.
Right?
This would have been the coolest field trip I would have ever taken. It's called the Pokemon Fossil Museum, and this is the first time it's being seen anywhere outside of Japan. Matt Rodriguez gives us a preview.
Pokemon Fossil
This
Museum.
exhibit is a good core exhibit, surprisingly, for the Field Museum because it puts the Pokemon world in the same space as in real.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Shoot me already. This fucking guy, they got him dressed up like the doctor from the original cartoon when I was in diapers. Oh God, they gave him the haircut and everything. Oh Christ.
Science, real fossils, and it's an exciting twist on our program.
Describe to me how you put the two side by side, how you take something from millions and millions of years ago and something so new and technologically forward together.
Well, we're standing in front of Tyrannosaurus, which and we pair that with Sue the T-Rex, which Sue's skull is back there. It really tells those stories side by side.
We have about 26 possible Pokemon replicas that were provided by Pokemon.
Holy shit! They look at this. They made him look like they got somebody that looks like the freaking guy. Holy crap!
Company, and we needed to find fossils in our collection to represent those animals, showing their natural history influences. I went through with a team of other paleontologists and picked our most stunning examples. They had to be examples that could travel because it's a traveling show. So for instance, we couldn't put all of Sue down here.
No,
Sue is already sometimes on the road and is permanently up there. So we did pick a cast of Sue's skull, as well as other fossils we had up display, including a miraculous Tully monster, which is the state fossil of Illinois.
What was your reaction when you found out you were going to...
State fossil of Illinois? I didn't know that. I thought the state fossil was the guy that they buried in the tunnels or something. Jimmy Hoffa. I thought he was the state fossil of Illinois. You're telling me a raptor toe is?
Yeah, apparently.
I gotta hear this again.
Reaction when you found out you were going to be Pokemonified?
Strange. I am someone who does not like looking at photos of my
Pokemonified.
Strange. Including a miraculous Tully monster, which is the state fossil of Illinois.
What was your reaction?
Mazan Creek. Okay.
When you found out you were going to be Pokemonified?
Strange. I am someone who does not like looking at photos of myself. And when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, like this is going to go all over North America. But my partner says it looks great, so I believe her and we'll go with that.
I think you look like a superhero here. That's pretty awesome. Well, give me the pose. Give me the pose. There we go. He's got it. Yes, yeah.
I had to get the pose to get that art done.
And I wish to die already. Oh, dear Lord. But the general hope is that the Field Museum will be able to keep this, and this, like the Chicago Bears, will not also flee to Arlington Heights or somewhere in Indiana. God forbid they decide to put this next to Michael Jackson's house. And that people doing the Thriller with freaking Pokemon.
Oh, that would be ironic and funny.
I can see somebody doing it. I can most certainly see somebody deciding, okay, for whatever reasons, just because, well, Chicago's become too expensive, we're going to say the hell with the lot of you. We're going to go to the poorest place in the state of Indiana next door, which is Gary, Indiana. The South Bend somehow improved. And they're going to go right next to Michael Jackson's house to make this exhibit. And they're going to have Michael Jackson actors moonwalking with Pokemon to go and tell people about dinosaur fossils and how they relate to Pokemon fossils. And they're going to try and keep the homeless out so they can go ahead and actually have a Pokemon world hunt.
That actually sounds
sit there on
workable.
my lawn chair and drink myself to death.
You realize that? That actually sounds workable, the way you just presented it.
It sounds workable. I literally pulled that out of my ass. You kidding me?
Just calling them how I see them.
I don't know. Next year when they have another one of the city festivals or something, I don't know. I'll try pitching that to Mayor Reddy if he makes it for another season of being a mayor. If someone else winds up replacing him, then I'll go to Mayor whomever and hope to God that they're not going to look at me like, oh no, it's that damn thing my kid loves that I hate. And I go, yeah, I'm not getting no traction with this. And then, knowing my luck, I'll be going over to Peros Brothers or something, getting food, and I'll lament about this. And then behind me on the little game console is going to be his kid, and he's going to go, oh, yeah, I'm going to bother my father about this. We're going to get this happening. And then the mayor will never let me live it the hell down.
You know, I swear, you're one of the only people I know that you can give me a scenario like that, and I know that it's actually possible with you.
When I was in college, we had to design characters. We had to do sheets and everything, and I pulled this character out of my ass. And the teacher was like, "All right, well, why do you have a cop and a gas mask?" And I'm like, it's the end of the world. We went towards North Korea and the Chinese helped out. And then the Russians and us got into a nuclear conflict because of mass confusion. And then not too long after that, the Ukrainian war kicked off. And I just went and shoot that into the spitball idea I had. And his eyes nearly popped out of his skull and he started sweating. And he gave me a B-.
And all you did was just ramble at him. That's great.
Yeah. I basically, the only thing I had this general idea, and the thing was, this would have been easier if I had seen Omega Man before making this character, but it was a thing that like everyone else was doing, was like apocalypse stuff. And I was like, look, I'm not doing any zombies. I'm not going to do anything all too crazy. Just something like Fallout, where it's like, all right, relative nuclear apocalypse, and we maybe have some zany stuff going. You know, I got sick and tired of the zombie stuff. So all I literally had is me in my room. I had a weekend, and I'm just sitting there with that M17A2 gas mask staring at me, and I'm like, screw it. I'm going to go ahead and wing this. And it worked well enough. So, yeah. I kind of have a gift for that, where I come up with something somewhat ridiculous, and then it sounds plausible when I get to the end of my thought pattern somehow.
Yeah, I kind of have a similar thing I know. My wife gets mad at me a lot. She tells me all the time, she's like, you have to stop doing that. Like, what? She's like telling random people this shit that you pull off the top of your head. I told her, I said, I'm trying to get into a place and the person at the door stops me and they want a story, so I give them a story. That's all. She said, but it's not right. I said, so I'll go to confession.
Oh, God.
Yeah, she doesn't like that, because I'll do that every once in a while. Like when I have to deal with somebody, you know, some asshole with a clipboard and a name tag, and they decide that, no, they're going to go to work today and they're going to do their job. So you're trying to get past them, and they start asking you questions. Bro, I just fucking wing it. I just tell them whatever they wanted to hear. It's like, you made all of that up. Yeah, no shit. I wanted to get past them. I can't believe you did that. You lied to that man. No, honey. Lying would mean I actually invested something emotionally. I said, I just told that man what he wanted to hear. I said, then I went about my day. I said, it's not lying because I don't even remember any of the shit I just said to him. You're horrible.
Oh, God. So should we get into the homeless people having a good time next, or should we get into the Pope?
Which one would you prefer to do first? It's your call.
In all honesty, I have a hard bias towards the homeless people, because there was a time where I was a security officer near Lower Wacker, and I got very lucky in one particular instance, to where I was doing security over at the Riverwalk, and there's this homeless guy who was sleeping there. This guy had the best camouflage. This guy had the best place to sleep until sundown. Then I was like, wait, what the hell is that over there? And I'm like, all I have is my stick that I snap to a bunch of magnets to show that, yes, I'm working. And I'm just like, What the hell is that over there? Looks like a giant rat. Oh shit, that's a dude's foot. It kind of rolls over. What up, man? And I'm like, yo, how are you? Try and make it look like I'm not gonna smack the guy in the head. And it's some homeless guy who's just like sleeping there. Couldn't see him until like the shadow had passed because we have these storm drains over there. So I'm more preferential to the homeless people being entertained. But to be fair, it is kind of historic that the Pope didn't meet with our Tard Mayor, Mr. Idi Amin, Lord of all the dead bodies in the sea, that is Lake Michigan, that he will say is the sea because Civil War, for the 15th time. Like, seriously, Mayor Brandon Johnson and YouTuber Tim Pool are in a contest to see who can say Civil War more times. The only difference is Brandon Johnson will go on about the Confederacy and Tim Pool will go on about Fort Sumter. So how thin do you want to slice that onion?
All right, so I guess we'll go with the one with the Pope.
All right, Pope it is then. Okay, so the Pope had a meeting with Mayor Brandon Johnson, and the both of them agreed they hate Trump. That's basically it. Sad to say. Let me go and see if I got the thing for it here. Where is it? God, I'm so damn blind. Hold on, I gotta pull it up here. Damn it. Oh, where did that go? Okay, here it is. This is what I get for having a halogen bulb off in the distance so I can't read what freaking tab. So I closed the wrong damn tab. Okay. There we go. Close that one. Okay, close that one. Jesus. My system's actually lagging. Okay, close the Indians. Alright, this is the Bear Stadium. Okay, here we go. Jesus, okay, if I can get this thing to not lag horribly. Alright. Let me go ahead and screen share now that the system hasn't crashed. Let me actually have it up. There we go. Okay, Pope Leo meets with Mayor Idi Amin of Shirakistan. Pontificate with Johnson at Vatican City on May 28th, was formally invited to visit his native city next year. Although, to be fair, if I remember correctly, Leo is not from Chicago, he's from Dalton, Illinois. That's just outside Chicago, but who am I to go ahead and pluck hairs on that? I might be excommunicated if I dare say such a thing. Much like how you would be excommunicated from your wallet if you dared not pay your parking tickets from 1908 to our former mayor, Rahm Emanuel. Well, let's see here. What has Mr. Ishmael written for us? Pope Leo met with the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, at Vatican City on May 28th. It's the 30th now, so, all right, not too long ago. Johnson has served as mayor since 2023. He met with the Pontiff for the first time since his election. This occasion formally invite the Pontiff to visit Chicago. And my God, you better give him fucking Kevlar, you cheap bastard. I don't want this to be like a Family Guy skit or something. For the love of God. A press briefing to journalists after the audience, Johnson explained the two discussed the policies of the United States government under President Trump, including immigration in Iran. Trump's during Iran are tyrannical. Democratic mayor sharply criticized Trump, calling him a tyrant as well as a disgrace for involving the U.S. in the Israel-Iran conflict. Said that he discussed his concerns about the administration with Pope Leo and described his recent encyclical Magnificat Humanitatis as a call to arms to work to avoid wars. Well, that's not so bad. Yes, one wants to avoid wars, but if I might call to His Holiness and in general to anyone that knows this, Philisaka Parapella. If you want peace, prepare for war. So that's the only way you're going to keep the savages from sacking your villages. It goes, I quote, the Pope's encyclical is a call to action for the entire planet, Johnson told journalists at the briefing. Quote, illegal wars do not leave just a trail of tears and trauma, but it also harms and brutalizes our humanity. The economic drive with which Trump is moving is selfish, end quote. Pope Leo's regularly criticized the U.S.-Israel war in Iran as unjust. Mayor Johnson, reflecting on his discussions with the Pope, stated that, quote, his position around Trump was more about disagreements with his approach, end quote. Quote, in the midst of a brutal, horrific, and ignorant tyrant that is currently occupying the White House, it is imperative that we really walk in the true essence of our faith. The impact of his failures on our global economy is quite severe. It disgraces the sensibility of our humanity, end quote, Johnson said. And I would like to ask, since when the hell is he Christian? First I heard of it, I had no idea he had a religion outside of Das Kapital. Or, like I joke about all the time, Idi Amin, the last king of Scotland, the lord of all the fishes in the sea. I thought that was the person he emulated. I didn't know he actually believed in any religion. I quite literally thought he was just a relative psychotic neo-Marxist that decided that there is no God but the reflection he sees in the mirror, personified with some take on Pan-African transgender socialism as applied to Americans' whole Marxist conflict they have of the regular oppressed versus oppressor dialectical. So I guess Mayor Johnson's Christian now. That's the first I heard. So holy crap. All right. Okay, so the Chicago mayor also said two spoke about Trump administration's immigration enforcement, in other words, ICE. Quote, we did discuss ICE. Post wanted to know how ICE impacted our city and whether there were still examples of ICE raids happening in our city. Talked about how our rapid response teams came together to support families. And I talked about my executive orders for which, oh God, okay, end quote. Long story short, the crap that he did was he distributed signs to people that basically said that these are no ICE zones. These are zones where ICE is not allowed to operate. And he tried to regulate the city of Chicago into basically the same areas that they showed earlier, to where you can't carry a firearm on your persons. He more or less tried to say, okay, these are the areas where ICE cannot operate. And for the most part, it seems that ICE has been somewhat following those. They haven't followed it to a T, but when they can get away with it without dealing with the wrath of apparently the Pope and the mayor, they go ahead and say, well, federal law says we're going to do it, so we're going to do it. And then let's see here. He praised Pope Leo for apologizing for slavery. I'm not aware of Christendom having slavery. Let's see here. Maybe I'll be enlightened. All right, Pope Leo presented his first encyclical on May 25th at the Vatican, offering moral guidance amid widespread concern about the dangers posed by artificial intelligence. In the text, Leo issued an apology for the Church's role in the transatlantic slave trade. Judge praised the Pope for his courage. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Scoop. I don't remember us having a damn thing to do with the transatlantic slave. Oh, of course, the one time I need to go pick his old brain, he's not around. He dropped out again from technical difficulties. Okay, then let me go back to it then. Jesus, okay. Oh, there he is. Okay. Okay, you got your technology working again?
Sorry about that. I was trying to grab you a clip. Since you were talking about Idi Amin, I figured you wanted to see this.
Sure, shoot it to me.
All right, I sent it to your Discord and I threw it in the chat here in the StreamYard.
Will do. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because my knowledge of the Dark Ages, the Crusades, and all that is typically regulated to the Third Crusade, because that's where my far-flung family comes out, on my dad's side of the family. But I don't remember us being involved in the transatlantic slave trade. I remember us fighting against the transatlantic slave trade because that was the caliphate that was in the transatlantic slave trade. We were trying to get pilgrimages. So that's the first I've heard of the church being involved in that. By all means, educate me if that's counter to what I know
of. The church itself, I don't particularly think was involved with the slave trade. Now, the papacy, on the other hand, we can't even say the Vatican proper. The papacy, you have to remember, the papacy, there was a period where it was basically infiltrated by the Borgias and the Medicis. So there was a lot of illegal shit going on. I would not be surprised if the papacy itself, if I hate saying it, but I would not be surprised if St. Peter's throne was not tied to the slave trade simply due to the banking going on. That's the thing, because the Vatican, first and foremost, were bankers.
Gotcha. That's why I wanted to go on your knowledge, because it's I don't remember in the death of Frederick Barbarossa, him going and saying, "Get me my slaves and put me into the pickle jar." So I was like, all right, we had something to do with slavery since when? Okay, I suppose in light of that, okay, that makes sense. That might be a thing. That thing I would have known about. Interesting. All right, let me see here what you got for this tidbit here. All right, definitely. Let me go ahead and show this. This is going to be hilarious.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know Idi Amin was you know, he was a colorful man. Okay, let me just say that, you know, because I'm not sure if it's people who love him, hate him, or whatever the case may be, but history records him as a diabolical figure. And this quote does not help at all. This quote right here, he said, "There is freedom of speech, but I cannot guarantee freedom after speech." What? He said, "You free to say whatever you want to say. You can say it. You can say whatever, yeah, anything. But I don't know what's going to happen to you after you say what you say, depending on what you say. But you can definitely say anything. Ain't nobody gonna stop you from saying. Go ahead.
You know what? That actually does apply very well to not just Mayor Brandon Johnson, but that also applies very well to Mayor Lightfoot, and most certainly, from firsthand experience, Mayor Rahm Emanuel. The reason why, in my younger years, I went and made so much anti-Rahm Emanuel anarchist propaganda and used to cover gang signs left, right, and center in the southeast side of Chicago is because of how cartoonishly, insanely, criminally, well, he was in charge, it wasn't necessarily criminal, but villainous he was. For this exactly. You can say what you want to say, but after you're done saying what you're going to say, I can declare that you are and if I remember correctly, I quote, an anti-Semitic racist who's committing a hate crime. Because first, you are anti-Semitic against Rahm Emanuel for saying what you're saying, and you are committing a hate crime against him for being anti-Semitic while also being racist against President Barack Hussein Obama because, well, Rahm Emanuel's in the position he is, and he's tied himself to Obama. So by you deciding that, you're going to say what you're going to say against him, you are, by extension, saying it against the president at that time when Rahm was the mayor of Chicago. So, yeah, he would quite literally pull this rabbit out of his hat to any and all critics, and this is why in the news they would call him the Rahm father, or as I called him, the Burnside Bums called him the Rahm Fuhrer, because he was absolutely ruthless with making everything anti-Semitic or some form of hate crime. And if that couldn't stick, then he would say that because you are being a critic of him, that you are being actually racist against the president, Mr. Barack Obama. And good Lord, he'd send lawyers upon lawyers upon lawyers on my, because you have the freedom of speech. It's your constitutional right. But freedom after speech, I think you're being an anti-Semitic, racist, domestic terrorist that needs to be investigated. Yeah.
Say it. Matter of fact, I want you to say it. Say it. Stand up and get the microphone, turn the volume on high, so we can all hear you say what it is that you feel like you need. Because apparently you got something that you want to say. Say it. We're not gonna stop it. Please, go ahead. No. By all means, say it. It's cool, please. We are not mad at you. Say it. Speak your mind. Okay? But make sure that your legs can move faster than your mouth. That what he's saying.
Absolutely hilarious and actually fairly accurate too, while we're at it. That's why most people left Chicago and Illinois in general. Their feet move quicker than their mouths.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, when Rahm Emanuel was mayor, just Jesus Christ, this man would literally make sorcery out of legalese. It was ridiculous. Like you wouldn't believe.
Obama's press secretary. I can never remember the guy's name nowadays. I used to love watching him because honestly, he was like a bullshit magician. I mean, I've been lied to by politicians before, but this guy was it was breathtaking. I've never seen anybody lie the way this man did. Just amazing to watch.
Whereas their press secretary, Pierre, she was pretty decent at just making it up as she went. They'd give her a couple tablecloths of a couple different points, and she'd just spin it as best as she could, and it's just like, wow, that doesn't sound really good, but you make it sound like it doesn't suck that much. I know a lot of people did not like Press Secretary Pierre, but you know what? Sometimes you have to sell people a shit sandwich. They don't have to eat it, but you have to be a shit sandwich salesman.
I liked her. I thought she was cute.
She did all right. Not the worst press secretary I've seen for these United States.
Yeah, true. Too bad what's her name is on maternity leave. I like her, that young girl.
It is what it is.
What's her name? The current press secretary we have just went on maternity leave.
Oh, shit. shit, I can't remember for the life of me. I'd have to look that. I'd have to Google that real quick.
All right. Don't worry about it then.
All right. All right. So since we took care of His Holiness, apparently possibly apologizing for the papacy and their corruption of the slave trade, since the Knights for once had nothing to do with it. So that's good. That's one less thing weighing on me every time it's Friday the 13th. You know, I don't have a Frenchman coming out of the bushes and screaming to me about slave trades, you know. Just the usual eating babies and causing satanic sorcery to make kids listen to AC/DC. In the year of our Lord 853. So that leaves our... Well, I think this is our last topic. Is the teen takeover that hit Chicago. And a lot of people have covered the Chicago police officers being hit by a vehicle. That thankfully didn't turn out as bad as most thought. So the one thing I wanted to point out is something that a few people missed, which is one of the areas these kids took over, like I mentioned earlier, is known as Lower Wacker Drive. Long story short, when you're going through Chicago, you're in downtown, there is Upper and then there's Lower Wacker Drive. Because it's not like you literally go to Gotham and there's an underground and all that stuff, but you've got this small area that has a couple highways, a couple access points, and parking garages for some businesses. Or, if you're a homeless person, a nice area for you to set up your small fiefdom so that you can not die from the winter, or like the guy that I almost smacked with a magnet stick. A real good place to get food, actually. So, yeah, a lot of people got very angry at the kids for running around like crazy, but I actually think, you know what? What they did at Lower Wacker Drive wasn't too bad, because, you know what? The homeless people in Chicago have a very miserable life. What have you, lobbied at the mayor, saying that he's preferring illegal aliens over any resident in Chicago at all. Hell, I got a member of the press actually going on about that I can go ahead and throw in for this one. But out of all the trouble the kids have made, though that this whole action is relatively criminal because, well, you know, don't do dangerous stuff, don't do this and that and the other. Basically putting on a show for the homeless, I don't think is that bad. We've had worse things happen. We really have. So a couple guys decided, you know what, we're going to go drag race in Lower Wacker because there's not going to be any freight trucks coming in. We can get together and move a couple of these barricades. Hey, we're not going to go and move that homeless guy's bed. We're just going to make sure that any bigger vehicles can't really get in temporarily, so we can go ahead and, you know, zip around in here. It's not that bad. These kids quite literally made a rap video. Probably can't play the audio, at least for YouTube. They're going to get pissed off for some reason, so we'll show you the video of these kids. Let's see here. Lower Wacker. Here we go. Boom. So I encourage you all to go ahead and look at RTIK Films on YouTube, so you can actually watch the full music video and not just see, you know, the crap that we're not going to get in trouble for, because God forbid you play music on YouTube and you're not Sony, you're not whatever company owned that old music video from Commie Christ, or MGM Studios, if MGM Studios still exists or what have you. Oh shit, we got a pickup truck in there. That's rare. Nice. But hey, look at this. Look at this. Ain't this spiffy? Ain't this fancy? Nobody's injured. There's no dead bodies. No dead bodies at all. They're just burning rubber. Ooh, there's another Mustang. Nice. Oh, wow. He's like... Jesus. Fucking cat. You should knock the equipment over. Hello. Okay, thanks. Alright, thanks for letting me know it completely crashed on you, Jesus. Why is that thing running like such shit? What, are you running everything wireless or something? Alright, Jesus. Yeah, because that work computer was supposed to be pretty high spec, so we shouldn't be doing this shit. Just turn the thing into Windows 10 and call it a fucking day. Don't be updating it to Windows 11 or any of that shit. You upgraded to Windows 11. Well, that would be why you're having all that problem. Just all those troubles and all that. Yeah, no. Jesus Christ. Oh, take it to the guy you got it from and tell him that you want it to be Windows 10. You want everything Windows 11 disabled. All right. All right, well, I'm glad you let me know you took a piss break and all that, and the computer took a piss. Yeah, I'm playing the video for the audience. I had to cut the music out of it, but of the kids in Lower Whack are going and zipping their cars around, and near the ass end of it, CPD actually gets past their barricades and tells them to get the hell out of there. Well, as far as New Jersey and them having the whole thing with ICE, I mean, I have a bias because I have no respect for the state of New Jersey. They have what's called a duty to retreat law, and I don't acknowledge that. So if they are a state that has a duty to retreat, why would I be surprised when they basically go ahead and pull down the American flag, put up the French flag, and go and allow a bunch of terrorists to search their vehicles and go, oh, yes, by all means, you know, clear us of any and all wrongdoing. It's fucking Jersey. Kidding me? Yeah. I don't really think much of it. Like, I know Timmy went on it for a day and a year, but it was one of those things to where it was pretty well clean cut to me, to where it goes like this. It's the summertime. It's riot season. They remember last year when they had all these different marches, all these different ICE protests and all that stuff, and the concern that a lot of these people in the inflatable costumes might actually have concealed firearms that are illegal from the black market, fully automatic or some crazy shit. It's like, okay, that's a somewhat valid concern. I'm sure the guy in the giant twerking inflatable Shrek costume absolutely has a 380 round AR-15 with some incendiary bullets between his butt cheeks. That could be a thing just because he has giant inflatable ass cheeks. You know, you never know. But New Jersey deciding that we're going to capitulate, this is balkanization. This is normal. If you're in a blue state, they will normally force the federal agencies that are stuck in their jurisdiction to abide by their nonsense. So the people that were employed by ICE, by the Fed, who are in Jersey, are going to have to let the Antifalings and what have you go ahead and search their vehicles and declare that, okay, you can go to and fro your facility. That seems fairly normal to me. It's normal. This is a state that says, if I am breaking into your house, and I'm going to make this extra hilarious and stupid for the audience when they see this. Okay, so here's the theoretical, everybody. Okay, the theoretical is I am a meth addict who humps gators for a living for some reason in the state of New Jersey where they don't have any alligators. And I am this drug-addicted, crazed felon that has been in 8 different mental institutes until the state of New Jersey shut down all 8 of them, and I am free. And I am free to go look for alligators to where there are none in New Jersey. But don't tell me that, because I'm a crazy person. I'm going theoretically, in this hypothetical, as the Gator Molester 9000 into some person's house in New Jersey looking for a sweet, sweet gator nookie to go and get. And I just go ahead and do some type of Sega Genesis flip, like you'll see in all of the Sonic games. The guy jumps and he turns into the ball and he goes through the window and then the guy's there. And yeah, that happens. And then I'm in the house and I'm armed with fully automatic incendiary flamethrowers by Elon Musk's Boring Company. And I'm foaming at the mouth from all the different drugs that I've done, going on about how I have to have that gator booty. I gotta have that sweet, sweet gator booty. And I have no clothing on but the arms that I have that are not showing your children, the sensitive bits, because I'm foaming at the mouth and I'm crazy. New Jersey says if such a person theoretically were to enter your home unlawfully, you don't open the door and you let them in. This person just goes and does the Sonic jump into your window and goes, okay, I'm here. I want gator booty. In New Jersey where there are no gators, but I want gator booty. He's in your house. He's got the flamethrowers. He's burning your house down and that. You have to go ahead and go into your backyard and hope to God that this aforementioned crazed lunatic looking for alligators, who's burning your house down, is not going to come looking to you for alligators because he wants gator booty and light you on fire when he's already lit your house on fire. No, the state of New Jersey says you have to flee. You have to dial 911 and you have to hope to God that this guy just stays in your house and doesn't go, oh, people are going from the inside of the house to the backyard. Okay, I'm going to ravenously, nakedly, drug-addictedly go and chase after them with fully automatic flamethrowers made by the Boring Company of Elon Musk, screaming about how I want gator booty in the state of New Jersey where there are no gators, but I want that gator booty. Until you are outside of your house and this theoretical person is still trying to light you on fire, then are you allowed to, in some capacity, defend yourself. But it is a high likelihood that in the state of New Jersey, where they have duty to retreat laws, were such an insane, unforeseeable thing to occur, you would still be incarcerated. Because how dare you actually stop this person in this situation? Guy burns your house down? Oh, well, you're supposed to flee. Guy goes out of your house chasing after you to burn you too. Oh, well, maybe you can sort of maybe defend yourself to some capacity. They don't want you to use lethal force. They have restrictions on what kind of firearms you can have, and you better hope that if you are able to have them in your backyard, that it's not something that's heavily regulated. And then, well, the guy, when he eventually comes off his multiple drugs and wanting gator booty, doesn't decide that he's going to take you to the state Supreme Court of New Jersey, because how dare you deny him gator booty and have mercy on him as he lights everything on fire, because he's obviously a psychotic drug addict. That's why I want to kick it to you and the audience. So if New Jersey is to not let you defend yourself in this insane theoretical because of how their duty to retreat laws are designed, that you have to quite literally not just flee your house in the backyard, but flat out get out of your house, get in your vehicle, and get the hell out of there, and hope that by the time Mr. Gator Booty 9000 is just burning your house down looking for gators that don't exist, that the New Jersey Police Department gets there, or the New Jersey State Police get there, and somehow they have the solution to Mr. Gator Booty 9000, because you can't do anything other than run. That's all the state allows you to do is run. Doesn't matter if the entire part of New Jersey you live in gets lit on fire just because this guy, despite being naked, has, let's say, I don't know too much about the measurements it fuels in. I know that like butane's in like liters and that. Let's say this guy has like 300 liters of flammable substance for these fully automatic theoretical flamethrowers from the Boring Company. So let's say because you're not allowed, you're in New Jersey, not allowed to defend yourself. This guy's in your house, he's doing all this stuff and that, and you have to wait for the cops to get there. Until the cops get there to stop this theoretical nut job, he's lighting the house down. He's just burning everything in sight. He's looking for gator booty. He's like, you know, I want that sweet, sweet gator booty. And he's just torching the entire house, torches the front yard, torches the backyard. And neighbors are like, oh, what the hell is this? They're dialing 911. And then the fire spreads because there's people that are looking out their windows. There's people who are doing regular people stuff like taking up the garbage. And they go, what's your naked ass doing running around with flamethrowers screaming about gator booty? Go back to Florida. And then this person goes and tries and attacks them with his fully automatic flamethrowers and lack of clothing. And then the cycle repeats itself. That person has to run. That person has to flee. That person has no right to defend themselves, despite the fact that crazed nut job looking to make sweet, sweet love to an alligator is trying to chase them down with flamethrowers. And But you'd hope it turns into something where the PD goes ahead and arrives and actually dumps into the guy. So basically, shooting naked people who are crazy in Newark, New Jersey is just a Tuesday, huh? Okay, well that's good to know. Were this theoretically to happen in Newark, New Jersey, the entirety of Newark wouldn't burn down from this crazy alligator fornicator. They just drop. The cops would eventually arrive there and drop them, and then that'd be that. How so lovely. Mm-hmm. I remember you mentioning that before. Okay. Yeah, so apparently over in New Jersey, there was a situation to where the police were on scene, and there was a perpetrator afoot. And this perpetrator was in possession of a firearm, and he was trying to get into a firefight with the police. He decided it was a smart idea to take cover between two vehicles and got wedged there. And he returned fire or opened fire, depending on who you ask, at the New Jersey police. State police, or was it the city police? Okay. Oh, guys, the Port Authority police. Okay, so New Jersey has the Port Authority police respond to this man on scene, and in order to, hopefully, as this guy thinks, give himself a better chance in a firefight, he wedges himself between two vehicles, opens fire or returns fire, and because of where he is pinned, when the Port Authority returns fire on him, he is technically a very dead person, but because of where he's jammed himself between two vehicles, body goes forward, body goes back, and he still has the firearm in his hand, so they keep thinking that this guy's aiming at them, trying to continue to open fire. So several officers decide to dump magazines into him until he's a red mist. 2 dozen magazines get dumped into this guy. Oh, and I'm going to assume that these are probably pistols that have at least 15 rounds because it's the PD and they're exempt from something like the PICA Act, huh? So this guy got shot over 400 times and was very, very dead. Even though being very, very wedged between two vehicles he thought was good for cover, they just springboarded him. So this guy wedged himself between two cabs, so his body couldn't actually drop. He basically bounced from the ass of one cab to the front of another, and he just... This sounds like some Max Payne crazy shit. So this guy's trying to evade the cops. He's leaping over this and that and the other, and then he winds up getting shot, falls between two cabs, and he's basically at some type of position to where he's twisted and he's still aiming at the cops, shooting at him. You gotta go ahead and send me an article on this one. This sounds downright insane. Glad to know that in this theoretical I wasn't actually too far off because there was a crazy asshole who got pumped full of lead from the Port Authority. Oh. Jesus. Well, I really wish your equipment would work, so I wouldn't have to secondhand relay that. But given that you have that kind of trouble with New Jersey police to where the New Jersey citizenry have to flee from a crazy person and wait for the police to abhorrently mag dump into him until they're very certain he's dead and isn't just, despite eating 40 rounds of 9mm, is still aiming a firearm at them. Yeah, given that type of insanity, yes, Borders and Customs Enforcement, ICE and whomever else is just going to just roll up to their facility, see all the protesters, and go, all right, yeah, go ahead and search the vehicle. That just strikes me as fairly normal, given that they have the duty to retreat laws and everyone has to rely on the police to do something insane like, yes, you have a naked person with 2 fully automatic flamethrowers going about gator booty, and yeah, we're just going to decide to just dump enough rounds to empty the entirety of a minigun into them and call it a day. Yeah, I remember that from Pee-wee's Playhouse. They had the secret word. So basically, instead of everyone knowing what the general parameters are so they don't get dumped with 3,000 rounds of ammunition, everyone has to wait until they cross the parameter of the secret word. And then New Jersey's Turnpike's finest decide that they're just going to just mag dump onto them ad nauseum for criminality, unbeknownst. That's lovely. This is why I have no respect for that state. Why I'm not surprised that ICE is like, yeah, we're going to cooperate with what might be domestic terrorists or very pissed off protesters. We don't know. We're going to find out later. That doesn't surprise me. You know, they'll file paperwork for any equipment lost if any of the crazies decide that they're going to steal something just because they think it's being used to oppress somebody, when in fact it's just a $1,000 pen. So I see. That's why I usually drive everywhere. All right, well, I'm going to let you go and I'm going to end the show then. All right, talk to you then. Hey, get the fucking computer over to the fucking computer guy and have him get it to be Windows 10 so you don't have all this retarded shit where you have to update every 5 minutes because it has to scratch your ass and your ball sack at the same times while reading your goddamn retina. All right, yeah, just whatever he's got to do. Don't upgrade it to Windows 11. If there's any Windows 11 stuff, get it off there. You're going to be so much happier because that's one problem everyone's had is just absurdity to the most absurd degree you could think of with computer functions. All right, thank you, dude. You'll be much happier when he just gets that fixed. All right, talk to you then. Bye. Jesus Christ. And that is why at Chaos Media, we do not endorse Windows 11. We do not use Windows 11. I'm going to have to inspect every piece of equipment we have as far as computers and make sure that it doesn't have any function that automatically makes it Windows 11 because this is the type of problem we have. My God, and I thought my computer was a piece of honking garbage. Okay, all right. Oh. Well, the only other thing I wanted to go ahead and show was one nice interview clip some guy did because I like the clip that Scoob sent earlier to where the guy is just talking about how Idi Amin's going on about free speech but no freedom after speech because yeah, we most of us don't like the mayor. Simple as that. And here I'm going to show you how other people from the press who were able to actually ask him questions had a hard time with him. Let's see here. Where is it? Oh, doggone it. Do I still have it? Let me check. Oh, doggone it. I seem to have lost the dang tab. All right. Oh, crime. Let me see if I can go ahead and find that real quick. There we go. If Windows and problems, yeah, I know itself has to try and make sure I close the right tab so I don't make a moron of myself and I have the thing I'm actually looking for. There we go.
National news on a weekly, if not daily basis, due to viral videos of violent black teenagers taking over Chicago neighborhoods, assaulting not only Chicago citizens, destroying property, but assaulting police officers, sending them to the hospital. Real Chicagoans, law-abiding Chicagoans are asking me if this is a Chappelle Show sketch when you brag that somehow 40 plus people being shot over Memorial Day weekend is some kind of a success. We have, half a dozen police officers sent to the hospital due to being rammed in a car by a violent black teenager at one of these takeovers.
Thank you, William.
We
Thank you.
have,
Let's wrap up the question. Want to answer,
yeah,
please?
You know, I mean, you didn't interrupt anyone else's question.
No.
Why would you interrupt
Please-
my question?
please ask the question.
Every reporter here has asked multiple questions. Why would you interrupt my question? Why?
Please ask the question.
I understand that every other reporter wants to talk about how the police are the problem, which is your policy, which is your rhetoric, which has led to these kinds of problems, according to the citizens, the real law-abiding citizens of Chicago. They say that your rhetoric and your policies are actually causing
William,
these violent
can we
black
please
teenager,
get to the question and let the mayor answer your
takeovers.
question?
So the question is, if police officers can't be safe in the city of Chicago, if a police officer can't even transport a violent repeat offender to a hospital without being murdered, then how can the average citizen be safe?
Safety is our top priority. But I've always said repeatedly that it's not policing alone, right? Police officers are being asked to do more and more each and every day. That's why I've worked hard to expand behavior and mental health support services, right? So that it takes off some of that pressure off of law enforcement to respond to those scenes. As far as these teen trends, we're all working hard to prevent them from happening. And, the reckless behavior of this individual who drove the car and harmed our officers, I'm grateful that they are recovering. And I believe that individual was not even a Chicagoan, if I'm not mistaken. And, depending on your definition of a teen, this person was
18 years old.
So by
18 years
some
old.
definition, old enough to vote.
Did you turn my
he was an
microphone
adult.
off?
So thank you.
Okay, so my follow-up question is simply this. You're going to Rome, all expense paid, luxury vacation, the type of vacation that no Chicagoan, very few Chicagoans could possibly ever experience in their. Real Chicagoans are asking me is, who's paying for this? This
Thank you.
World
I get
Business
your
Chicago.
question.
No. The World Business Chicago
It's World Business
is a
Chicago.
Chicago. I mean, you're the chairman or the
It's
president.
a World
of this.
Business Chicago.
And how many of the people on this trip have business with Chicago, have contracts with Chicago, are vendors? What do they expect
World
for
Business-
for them paying for your trip? What do they get?
To be fair, this is probably one of the most adversarial people he's had in a good minute that he's actually handled pretty well without losing his shit. Mayor Brandon Johnson has done much worse with the press that have tried to go and ask him hard questions or trying, like this guy's going bantering. But I didn't know we were paying for the trip to Rome, but oh well, I guess we are.
In return,
World
what is the
Business-
quid pro quo?
World Business Chicago is an apparatus that was designed by previous administrations to help build and attract business to Chicago, and we're doing that. We cannot deny the fact that we are moving in the right direction, and we're going to continue to build the safest, most affordable big city in America, and we're going to remain open for business. But unlike other previous administrations, Chicago is just not for sale. Thank you.
Yeah, Chicago's not for sale. I don't know. I think the youngsters have decided they're going to go ahead and have their fun, and they're going to entertain the homeless by drag racing. But not too bad of a meltdown. Normally everyone loves it when people go ahead and lose their minds and what have you. There's been times where he's done worse, but it's good to have some adversarial people in the press. You don't want to be foaming at the mouth crazy like we were talking about with the nut jobs in New Jersey, but for now, that's the end of it. We've been on for 2.5 hours. So you guys have yourselves a good night, good day. Don't get arrested. Don't get no misdemeanors that you can't deal with in court. Don't get no felonies you can't deal with in court. Just do your best to stay out of the legal system in regards to having to go to court for criminality. This has been the CEO of Chaos Media. Information is the art of war. Be responsible. Don't get arrested.
32 Robert. Suspect threatening suicide at 35 Penn on Pine Grove. 35 Penn Pine Grove. Permit 516 on the 5. Matthews calling saying his ex-girlfriend grabbed a knife and threatened to kill her.
Thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want more, go ahead and like, subscribe. In various parts of the video, we've got our QR code. Go ahead and take that thing. It'll save you a lot of trouble.